Hi, this is Dave Bolduc with the Bella Group. Welcome to my weekly real estate market update. Today's September 16th, and we're going to take a look at some metrics that experts use to gauge the real estate market health. Before we jump into that, same stuff as always, please like and subscribe. It helps to get the word out to everybody. Ring the notification bell so that you can get notified when I put out new content, which is usually every week. And then comments are fantastic. I really appreciate people who have been putting down the comments. And I talked to a few folks and they asked me questions. And I always say, if you have that question, others may have that question as well. So just throw it in throw it in the comments while you're watching the video, and I can give you guys an answer and we can discuss it there. So that'd be great. Going into the market update real quick, 5,981 homes are active on the market right now. That's down about 150 from last week. So we're seeing the inventory come down a little bit when it's already very low. 766 new construction homes, that's flat. 3,101 homes are over 50 days on the market. That's 52% of houses on the market. Now, some of those, because the demand's down, so things are slowing down, but also a lot of them they need some work, whether it be cosmetic or all the way to a full-on renovation. There are houses out there that need some love. I am in contact with a lender who is an expert at renovation loans. I've done several with her, and we're going to do a video, and I'll let you guys know when we get that done. Just talking about what's out there in the market and what she can bring to the table in terms of renovation loans. So I'm really looking forward to getting that done. We have about 1.4 to 1.7 months of inventory on the shelf, depending on how you look at the demand. So it's low, regardless, it's low, right? And remember, half of those homes, a little over half of those homes need some love, and they need some TLC. So people that are out there looking for that, perfect HGTV house, they're competing for actually about half of the homes that are on the market. And so that's, 0.7 to 0.8, maybe 0.9 months of inventory. So it's a pretty low market. This is definitely a seller's market. Demand is down, but it's not down enough that it's equalized yet. So the four things that experts look at to gauge the housing market: it's employment, lending standards, foreclosures, and inventory. I've talked about several of these at different times, especially foreclosures and inventory, and I'll put some links to videos down in the comments so you can see that. And I'm gonna click over to share my screen here. So just give me a second because I'm not an expert at this, and we'll go through all that. So hopefully you can see that. I'm going to pull this down here so it's not in the way. So length of the crisis versus for different situations, the Great Recession, 2008, and then today, primarily focused on the pandemic with COVID. So you can see November 2007, we were at 4.7%. November of 2016, 9 years later, we got back down to 4.7% unemployment. A great deal that time, 6 years, we were over 6% for quite a while. It was a long, drawn-out issue. January 2020, we were at 3.5. July of 2022, so 2.5 years later, we're at 3.5 again. There's a real sharp peak up, but then a real fast drop-off. And I think that's related to everything was shutting down for a while and people were losing their jobs. And then when they realized we could get back going again, those jobs came back. So right now we're at 3.7%. So we're still in that same 3.5% range. So, I really don't see anything right now with jobs. Employment could be an issue going forward, and we'll talk about that in a minute. So the next one is lending standards. And lending standards are measured through the Mortgage Credit Availability Index. The higher the number, the easier it is to get a mortgage. You can see back in 2005, 6, 7, if you could fog a mirror, you could get a mortgage. Now it's much tighter, and it's much tighter because of the issues we had in 2008. And then if you can see that back in 2020 with COVID, those lending standards got even tighter. We were at 108.3 now. So right now we have highly qualified buyers that are out there buying houses. And for the last 10, 12 years, that's been the way it's been. So feeding into the next one, foreclosures, we're seeing that we really aren't getting a lot of foreclosures right now. And I keep putting my picture in the worst possible spot. There we go. So red bars are over 1 million foreclosures in a year. And those were all during 2008. and beyond, right? The fallout from the great or the 2008 financial crisis. 2020 and 2021 you can kind of ignore, because there was, from March of 2020 until July of 2021, excuse me, there was a moratorium on foreclosures. But right now, what we're seeing this year is that foreclosures are still well below the 2019 level. So we're still down. We're still in this downtrend that you can see on this on the chart here. So foreclosure activity, we're really not seeing any major issues. There are foreclosures out there, but there's not a lot of them. To bring that point home, only about 200,000 homeowners were facing possible foreclosure in the second quarter. That's 0.4%. All right, 0.4% of the mortgages that are out there, about 600 million mortgage, or excuse me, 60 million mortgages, 58.2 is the number. Of those facing foreclosure, of the 214, about 195,000 or 91% have some kind of equity in their homes. So that means that they can sell their house, or they got a little bit more flexibility. They don't have to just go into foreclosure. The last one here is inventory. All right. So in this one, the inventory is still historically low. This is the US number. The blue bar is saying if you were to compare the inventory today versus the inventory in the same week a year ago, it's 27% up now. So there's more inventory now. The red bar next to it is comparing current inventory versus 2 years ago in 2020. And you can see it's 5.5% down. Same thing for 3 years ago in 2019, and it's down 43%. So we're down lower, 43% lower than we were in 2019. This is the US, this is the national number. Now let's look at the Connecticut number. It's a little different. Connecticut, year over year, we're 49% down. 2 years ago, 62% down from 2 years ago. So 2 years ago was higher, right? I just want to be clear on that. And then 3 years ago, we're down 72% now from where we were 3 years ago. So inventory in Connecticut is extremely low. This is a quick summary here. Employment, we're okay for right now. We'll continue to watch for trends. There's some recent layoff announcements. Credit Suisse and Ford are a couple. They're in the 5,000 to 8,000 range. That's significant, especially if you're impacted by it. But it's not a wholesale collapse of the employment market, which is what we're concerned about. Lending standards were tightened in 2008, and they're further tightened in 2020. I don't see that changing. Foreclosures are well below the 2019 levels due to the moratorium, more qualified buyers, and certainly the higher equity in homes in the forbearance process, which has been a great success. Inventory remains extremely low. I just showed you the charts on that. So bottom line is the real estate market is very different from 2008 version. While things can change, especially in employment, right now there's nothing pointing to a real estate crash. Going over to the primary mortgage market survey, 6.02% versus 5.22 last week. This is almost 100% related to the very hot CPI report that we got. And this is during a time when gas prices and energy prices are down. The CPI was still higher than expected. So that means that other things are seeing significant price increases. And what's happening is the Fed is looking at that and saying, okay, we need to go harder on our interest rate increases. There's now a pretty good chance that they're going to do a full 1% increase on the Fed funds rate. I did a video recently on how the Fed funds rate translates to mortgage rates. It's not a 1-for-1, but we can I'll put it in the link below so that you can see it. The final thing I want to leave you with is, yes, we are seeing mortgage rates go up, but we're in a situation where we're still below where they were in the 2000s. And if you look back into the 70s, 80s, and 90s, I mean, there were some significantly higher interest rates. So please just keep that in mind. If you want to talk about it in more detail, please feel free to reach out to me. My contact information is right there. I look forward to talking to you. If you have any comments or questions, throw them down in the comments below. Hope we got some value out of this. Until next week, have a great day.